So before I unpacked the Modern Slavery Act, I'd just like to share with you a little bit about my story and how I ended up here. I'm a mum of 2 little girls, aged 2 and 6, which keeps life pretty busy. I'm also a cancer nurse by trade, and I was born right here in Australia. Now, growing up, I lived in the suburbs of the northern beaches of Sydney. I went to the local public schools. I came from a fantastic, loving family, and we used to drive around in this bomby yellow Commodore. I thought my life was pretty ordinary. Until when I was 17 years old, and I went to Africa with World Vision on a study tour. And for the first time, I was confronted by extreme poverty. And I realised that this life that I thought was ordinary was actually an extraordinary gift that had been given to me for no other reason that I was born here. And so for the past 20 years, I've spent my life trying to use that gift to give back to the people like the ones that I'd met in Africa. So I've led teams to work with some of the poorest communities in the world. I spent a couple of years working in a Romanian orphanage where I grew to really understand the push and pull factors of modern slavery and human trafficking. And most recently, I worked in Spain for 5 years with my husband. We worked in human trafficking intervention. Now, I don't know if you know, hands up anyone who's been to Spain? Yeah, great holiday destination. But what you may not know, what isn't on the tourist brochures, is that Spain is the #1 transit and destination country for women being trafficked into Europe. And so while we were there, I worked in a safe house for survivors of human trafficking into the sex industry. And so when I think about those numbers, that 40 million people, that's almost twice the population of Australia. It's hard to get our heads around those kind of numbers. But for me, those numbers are personal. For me, each one of those numbers represents a person that I've met, a name, a story, somebody with a family and hopes and dreams.